Breastfeeding, the most intimate relationship a human being can have. Yes, we sexualized it heavily, but that's another story. Iroju story, it's about how companies are commercializing breastfeeding and how they're feeding misinformation into our minds and how this could be fatal for an entire generation of young mothers and babies. The joke is that this already happened. ఇది ఫస్ట్ టైం కాదు, ఆల్రెడీ 1970s and 80s లోని ఆఫ్రికాలో జరిగిన సంఘటన ఇప్పుడు డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీస్లో జరుగుతుంది. సో దిస్ ఇస్ వై ఐ రియలీ డోంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ టు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్. సో లెట్ మీ టేక్ యూ త్రూ ద స్టోరీ. సో బేసికలీ బ్రెస్ట్ ఫీడింగ్ అనేది ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ యానిమల్, నాట్ జస్ట్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్, ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ యానిమల్ ఇట్స్ నాన్ నెగోషియబుల్. And even if the animal has no proper nutrition, the initial stages especially are very important to ensure a healthy development of a baby. Now here people saw profit for something as natural and as fundamental as breastfeeding. Let me tell you, not just one company here, there are so many companies, so many players who are trying to make profit out of it. So what is happening right now is that this August 1st week, they've called it Breastfeeding Awareness Week. Even I was shocked, like why do we need to separately breastfeeding lanti normal thing gurinchi separate ga awareness endu create cheya. I understand breast cancer, okay, I understand cervical cancer, okay, yeah, people are not aware of it, but breastfeeding, really we need 1 week for that? The research led me to very interesting findings. It's because there is rampant spread of misinformation regarding breastfeeding amongst young mothers. This shows on how many levels as a society we are failing, right from the government to the families. Now what is happening is that, let me read out the news here. Breastfeeding causes deformities. I don't know what I don't want to use that language, but yeah, breastfeeding causes deformities. These are the articles that are being circulated, widely being circulated. Formula is better than breast milk as it has more nutrients. Very good. Yeah, in some societies now they're saying that the colostrum, the first milk I'm telling you, within the first hour it needs to be fed to the baby, because the first milk called the colostrum, it has the highest number of antibodies which are absolutely necessary for a baby's survival. They're calling colostrum dirty and it should be discarded. I have only one answer to all these people. You come to India, you ask any woman, any elderly woman, irrespective of how much she is earning, it is even women working as domestic help will have better knowledge than these people. And now they are saying that, this is backed by science, and which we all know that how researchers and the data is manipulated and given big tags so that companies can use this data as a backing to sell their products. This is not the first time it's happening. I'll tell you a story about what happened in 1970s and 1980s in Africa. In African countries, a big company called Nestle, yes, I'm openly using it, Nestle. So Nestle, it has introduced baby formula. Even in India, I'm going to come back to it later, even in India we use baby formula powder. So what happened in Africa is that they got them prescribed by doctors. They practically said that since women are not healthy in Africa, again there was a racism angle over here, they're not healthy in Africa, so their breast milk has no nutrition content. See, one thing I'll agree with them, the mother's health is very, very important. This is something we in India also neglect. This is why government has separate schemes to increase the nutrition quantity that mothers consume. This I agree. Yeah, if the mother is not healthy, it will impact the baby's development right from the birth to the first 2 years, it will impact. Now what Nestle said is that, okay, since your milk is unhealthy, they use this fact. Now look at how people twist facts. They use this fact and they said your breast milk is practically useless, so use this formula. That formula contained all sorts of chemicals. It's just like the Farex, Cerelac and everything we get in Indian stores of Nestle only. Then what happened? It led to deaths of not one or two, thousands of African babies, because these mothers were only using it and they were not giving any breast milk for them. Thinking, because doctors and nurses were prescribing, no, they actually thought that breast milk might be unhealthy. So one company and one misinformation, it costed the lives of thousands of infants. And I'm telling you, it is not just some misinformation that spread. It was deliberately injected into African society. They paid celebrities to endorse this, pamphlets and free samples, everything that we do for a normal marketing strategy, they've done it over here. And they're doing it now also. This is what I want people to understand. What Nestle did is that they paid, the saleswomen were dressed as nurses. Okay, this is the level of marketing they did. Okay, I understand, as a marketing strategy, it's a good strategy, but what happened to ethics? They actually propagated the myth there. That is where this myth has begun, that colostrum is harmful for the baby. I'm telling you, I don't even see women, even uneducated women in India know this fact, that colostrum is very important for the baby. So yeah, the babies, you know what happened to the babies who consumed this? They suffered from diarrhea, infections and malnourishment, and most of them died. This widespread infant illness and deaths, yeah, this also happened in Latin America also. Now what happened, because of widespread deaths in 1979, Nestle boycott movement was started. Because NGOs and churches, health activists, thankfully they all came together, at least someone intervened to stop those deaths. If not, no one knows how, to what extent they would have gone. UNICEF and WHO, they came up with guidelines, of course. Not until everyone died. In 1981, WHO came up with guidelines. So you tell me, after so many deaths only, WHO came up with guidelines. Aren't they supposed to verify all this in the beginning? Aren't they supposed to monitor this process? So until and unless, this questions the credibility of institutions all over the world. So until and unless babies died, nobody bothered to come up with guidelines. This is what is happening again today. Again, via social media, they are propagating the myths that mothers are unhealthy. And because of increasing levels of alcohol consumption and weed, marijuana consumption in women, they are agreeing to it to a large extent, because the women themselves are not taking care of themselves. And also the boys also, they are consuming very unhealthy food and everything. So yeah, the babies are being born weaker than before. Yes, I agree that these weak babies need a level of intervention, they need medicines, which is also very sad. It's just because two people can't get their lives straight and the baby is suffering. Now they're doing the same thing with newborn babies again. I don't know how many babies have to die. Now you tell me, how many babies have to die before we follow the guidelines again? And these guidelines are not being followed everywhere properly, because many baby formula companies have higher level of sugar content. That's the reason the babies prefer these powders more than their mother's milk. And if you see, I don't need to refer to some study over here. If you have babies in your house, you'll understand, when the baby transitions from these powders to normal rice, they start crying, they start, it will be like a mental torture to them, because it is due to the hidden sugars in those baby powders. Yes, again, they are not regulated in India also. So this is how we are playing with infants' lives. They will have effects all throughout their life. Just because our medicine is developed doesn't mean that the baby is supposed to suffer, just because we can cure an illness. Now, what should we do? I'm really happy about the Breastfeeding Awareness Week. We should stop believing that everything we see, every propaganda is true. And we should stop thinking that, we should again build strong community systems. Nobody taught our mothers. Our mothers never did any course. Now they have parenting classes and all. What classes did our mothers go to? Our grandmothers raised 10 babies all together. And of course, most of them are not even well-to-do, 10 babies all together. We know our stuff. I really would appreciate if this social media market and all the foreign market knows their place. They have a place, a small place. Until then, it's good. The moment you cross cultural borders and you think that you know about babies more than a mother, that is where the problem will occur. I need you to tell me in the comment section how to tackle this problem. Thank you.